Very good morning, children. Our next topic is aggregate demand and related concepts. In microeconomics, we have studied about demand. Demand is the requirement or the desire of anything which we need to have within our purchasing power. Aggregate demand is that demand in which we can say that sum total of all the goods and services available in the market and the number of people who want to get it. This is what the aggregate demand. Understood? And if we go to the components of aggregate demand, first is private consumption expenditure. This is known as household consumption, which we use for our daily needs. Second component is investment expenditure. It can be understood with the abbreviation I. It is the total expenditure which we need to have to buy all our private firms, by all the private firms on capital goods. Next is government expenditure. The expenditure which is raised by the government to fulfill the demands of consumers for the goods or capital goods for the common needs. And then it is net exports. You know, if the net comes means gross minus depreciation. So here the total export minus total import. So the total export we say with X and total import we notify with M. So it is X minus M. So there are the components of aggregate demand are private consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government expenditure, and net exports, that is X minus M. So AD, which is represented as capital A, capital D. So this is aggregate demand. It is the sum total of all four components: C, consumption expenditure; I, investment expenditure; G, government expenditure; and X minus M, total expenditure. Total net exports. Understood? This is AD equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M in two sector model. Understood? This is what AD is. And if we formulate the AD, the formula for AD is C plus I. C means consumption and I means investment expenditure. So here you can see that the income is given 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. Consumption is given, investment is given. If consumption is 40 and income is 20, so our aggregate demand will be 60. That is C plus I. And if you go to the graph, you can see on x-axis it is income and y-axis it is aggregate demand. Now you can see the positively sloped curve. This positive slope curve says that it is AD and it is not starting from 0. That you can see it is not getting started from 0. Since on y-axis you can see that there is an income and from x-axis there is an income and on y-axis there is aggregate demand. Understood? So if it is positively sloped, then you can see it is clear that as the income is increasing, aggregate demand is increasing because our consumption and our investment. So here you can see that as the income is increasing on x-axis, our aggregate demand. So as the income is increasing, aggregate demand is increasing and it is not starting from 0 and it will never start from 0. AD curve will never start from 0. There is a very simple reason for that, because even at 0 income level, that is on O, there exists certain demand. So even when the 0 income level there exists certain demand, then aggregate demand can never be from 0, can never start from 0. And you can see here O to S. So O to S is that part which is denoted by C bar. This C bar means autonomous consumption. Understood? Autonomous consumption means the consumption at 0 level of income. So when at 0 level of income, there exists any consumption, it is known as autonomous consumption. Understood? So if we see some important points about AD, so AD is equal to C plus I. AD curve is always positive. Even when zero level of income is there, it holds certain value. That is why it never starts from zero. Then slope of consumption curve. Slope of consumption curve is positive and inclined. As the income increases, AD also increases. And if we see slope of autonomous curve, so here you can see the autonomous investment, that is I, it will always remain constant and parallel to Y. It means even if income is increasing, the investment remains same. Autonomous investment is self-investment. If I give you the example of salary, if the salary increases, the provident fund which is deducted, that is a part of investment, it will remain same. So investment curve is parallel to x-axis. It means it is parallel to income. And what does it mean? That it always remains constant in aggregate demand curve two-sector model. Now we will study aggregate supply. Aggregate supply is denoted by AS. It is also known as national income. And in our aggregate demand, income is denoted by Y. So here you can see the formula Y is equal to AS. And AS means aggregate supply. It is the sum of consumption and saving. As the AD was the sum of C and I, aggregate supply is AS is the sum total of C and S. Aggregate supply can be negative also. It can generally start from zero. But if the saving is negative, then aggregate supply will start from zero. I'm sorry, I said that aggregate supply can be negative. Aggregate supply cannot be negative. But even if saving is negative, negative saving means no income, but our previous savings are withdrawn. That is known as negative saving. So AS always start from zero, and it shows the positive curve with 45 degree. This 45 degree is not a real aggregate supply curve. Either 45 degree line is an aggregate supply which shows certain analysis, that is when the consumption and saving curves are assumed to be linear. Okay, assumed to be linear means as the income is increasing in the same proportion, consumption and saving will be increasing. That's it, the 45 degree explains. So aggregate supply can start from zero. Income will always be on x-axis, AD and AS will be on y-axis. And with the formula you can see, even if saving is negative, AS is coming zero. So in today's video we have studied about aggregate demand, aggregate supply, their curves. From next class we will study about the propensity to consume or consumption function. Thank you.